That's running. Okay, we're on the road glide with this part. Fire it up. Whew. Beautiful day in sunny Queensland. There's how much of that you can see. So this shot's showing the Road Glide shark nose fairing, and there's the batwing fairing from the Street Glide. So the Road Glide fairing definitely works better as a protective fairing if you're on tour, and it takes the weight off that front end. So I think it actually does handle just a little bit better. I don't think there's a huge difference to it, but just a little bit with that weight taken by the frame rather than the suspension means that it can handle a bit better, especially at higher speed stuff. But overall, I think most people will buy on the style that they prefer, and I think they'll be fairly happy. The family resemblance to the older models is definitely still there. However, the whole package has been resigned. The fairings are different, the headlights different, the guards are different, everything's different, but it's all been designed to be standalone. So you can keep any individual part is designed to look good on its own. However, if you start to modify the bike, it all flows in together as well. So that's a really nice design feature that they've built into these new bikes. Now, still got the still baggers, of course, so they've still got good panniers that are removable fairly quickly to adjust the suspension, things like that. They're not designed to be taken into motels and things like that. This is the 117 cubic inch engine for the new touring models. Now, it's different to the old 117s, and compared to the 114 that was in the earlier models, it's got more power, more torque, and it's cooled in a different way as well, so not as much engine heat coming off onto the rider. Tucked in there is one of the suspension units. Now, this is a twin shock bike. It's got suspension on both sides. It's got an extra inch of travel over the old models, so it's got 3 inches instead of 2, which is 50% more, and it works so much better than the old bike. So much better on bumpy roads, so much more comfortable. It's one of the big differences between this and the old ones. It really stands out that this bike is more comfortable because of the suspension working better over the bumps and that sort of thing. Now, if I switch it on, the infotainment system is huge. It's booting up, and there's lots of different views to this infotainment system. There's lots of information there. This bike's now got riding modes, cruise control, great stereo system, as you can see, big speakers. Sounds great, and CarPlay, and it's coming with a headset, so you can set up the CarPlay properly, because you have to have a headset for it to work. It's also got a tray here there's the headset, and this is the fob that is effectively your key, and this tray also has a USB-C port here for charging your phone or charging a device, whatever you like, and it's a really comprehensive instruments system, and it works really well. Up the top here, this flap lets some breeze through, and also helps with buffeting too, depending on your height, and you can get a whole bunch of different height screens depending on how tall you are. But as part of the development of this new model, they actually spent a fair bit of time in the computer system getting the airflow to come over here and not give you too much buffeting, which is that head shake that you can often get with touring bikes, and it certainly plagued some of the earlier Harleys. They've been getting better, and this one I think is demonstrably better than the earlier ones too. So yeah, overall, steering lock's still down here, but you don't need that for the ignition or anything. Overall, the new setup at the front end is a definite improvement over the old bike. The Road Glide doesn't have that central pocket that the Street Glide has. It has 2 side pockets, one on either side of the fairing, and this one here has the USB port for your phone. The handlebars are much higher on the Road Glide, which is actually a more comfortable riding position, I find. But again, it's a real preference thing. That's not to say that the Street Glide's riding position is bad. I'm just saying it's different, and you sort of pay your money and you make your choice. Footboard with just a normal toe gear shift. Gives you plenty of room to move your feet forwards and backwards to make it nice and comfortable. Also nice and comfortable is this seat. For the rider, it's actually quite good, and I think for the passenger, it doesn't look too bad, but there are quite a few options available if you want to improve the touring comfort. And on the back as well, there's provision here to fit the tour packs, as they call their big top boxes. And they've got a compact one or a big one, like you find on the Ultra, to turn it into a real full-on tourer. Harley's got a 19-inch front wheel on the new Road Glide and Street Glide, and they've set it up with nice steering geometry and things like that. So it's actually quite good fun to ride on a winding road. And yes, I did scrape it, but not as much as I expected. It's actually quite good fun on a twisty road. It's no sports bike, of course. It's still a cruiser, but given its design, given its style, given what the old ones were like, I was actually quite impressed with how much fun it was on a winding road. The new bikes still have that same shake and rattle and roll as the older models, but again, I think they've done a little bit of work on that, and you feel it mostly through your feet, a little bit through your hands, a little bit through the seat. Generally very smooth twin cylinder bike, and haven't found any tingles in the hands after stopping or anything like that, so makes it quite fun. This is the most significant upgrade since the Rushmore models launched a decade ago. They've changed the styling, they've changed the way the fairing shape is, they've reduced the amount of buffeting, and overall the bikes are just improved in just about every manner that I can think of, except the price. They are a little bit expensive, still quite a bit cheaper than the CVO, which I really liked when I tested that late last year. But if you're buying one of these, you keep it for a long time, you'll get your money's worth, you'll get your value. Check them out if you're into the Grand American Touring style motorcycle. They are much better than the older bikes, and if you haven't ridden one for a decade or so, you'll be shocked at how much better they are than they were.